Hey everyone, Mystical Mark here. So this will be your intuitive astrology forecast for the week of November 9th to the 15th of 2025. In this video, I will intuitively tune into my own higher self to get the overall energetic vibes for the major and minor aspects that will be happening this week. And at the end of the video, of course, I tune in again to get like an overall energy for the week. And it kind of encompasses everything that we've gone over with the aspects. And that is just intuitive, okay? Of course, what I do in this video is mundane astrology, okay? So this is not an all signs, not like a sun sign thing or whatever, okay? If you're just focusing solely on your sun sign or even just your big three, I've said this before and I don't mean to be rude, but you're kind of just missing the point. Okay, you need to take into account your entire chart, and if you want something that's personal for you, you have to get a personal reading. No all signs forecast or looking at your sun sign is going to give you any inkling into what is going to happen for you in your own life or anything like that. And even then, it's also subject to change due to free will anyway. So, however, you can get a heads up on certain things or certain energies and how they're going to affect you. But you do need an actual personal reading for that, okay? So again, this video is mundane astrology, meaning it's more global, an overall energy, and that tends to really just relate politically, economically, on more of a global kind of a scale, on what affects us all, okay? With all that being said, of course, as I say at the beginning of all of my videos, my guidance has been and likely always will be, astrology is an energetic template conducive to certain things. The analogy they gave me is it's like a math formula. There's variables that exist within that formula, and we get to control those variables, okay? We have free will, okay? And again, that leads into the point, I do this intuitively, so anything that I get coming through this video is always subject to change, okay? Because of free will. So I get this intuitively as I'm recording this video. However, decisions may change, things may change, whatever. It's always subject to change, all right? But that energetic template is still there, and things are still likely to happen or occur within that template, okay? All right. I think I've said enough with that, so we can get into the charts for this week. Let me just pull them up on my end here, and we're going to start here, obviously, on Sunday, November 9th. So Mercury does go retrograde today, but I'll hit that at the end of Sunday's aspects. I don't want to just, go right into that, so I'm going to hit the aspects first for this week, or for this day. So to start off here, we're going to have this Saturn retrograde, which will be in trine here to Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio. Okay, let me just tune in here. Saturn retrograde, trine Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio. Oddly, it feels like there's a positivity to this. I'm kind of being told it's about a shift that occurred last week. I know if you've watched my daily card shorts, videos, whatever, I post them on all platforms. I think the card that we started the week off on Sunday was Transformation, or like the Tower card in traditional tarot. And I felt that that was the energy for the entire week last week. So again, I'm recording this before that week even happens, so I don't know. But it feels like there's something that has shifted. At the very least, something that has shifted energetically. It feels like it's more than that. But something has shifted here. I feel a very positivity to that Black Moon Lilith and Scorpio energy. And I think I said in last week's video that there's a lot of with everything that's happening in Scorpio, it's driven by an underlying positive energy. It's driven by the light, if you want to call it that. It's using that Scorpio energy for a very positive, honestly, transformation and even a tower moment in some ways. So despite what we may see in the world, in terms of what is occurring, there is an underlying positive reason for all of it. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right, so don't be don't be worried so much about what is going on, especially since the media tends to try to manipulate a lot of things in order to, keep you in a space where you're not thinking that it could be positive or whatever, okay? They don't want you to think outside the box. They want you to listen to what they say and not think for yourself. But what I'm saying is that you are a free, independent person that has free will, and you have every ability to think for yourself and do what you want, okay? You don't have to listen to anybody else, including me. Anyway, Black Moon Lilith in trine to Saturn retrograde. So I feel this, and I've talked about this before, that this Saturn in Pisces, especially retrograde as it's going over these old things, is the dissolution of that malefic energy. It feels like there's old control structures or old things that have fallen. Whether we see it or not, whether we see it as the face value or not, whether we know it or not, because this could be something that's happening in the background, or it could be something that has shown up too. But it feels like it doesn't have the same control that it had. I don't know how else to say that. And it feels like that Lilith energy, it's almost like not being outcasted anymore. Okay, I think I'm getting it now. What I'm being given here is this restriction and control can no longer hold in this outcasted state. Like I said, there's a light energy that's happening with a lot of that's using the Scorpio energy for positive things and transformation and healing and power. Okay, and it's almost like it's healing that outcasted part, or it's healing the negative aspects to that Lilith energy, maybe in terms of where he felt outcasted and wanting to and like whatever. But this feels very much, this feels on a much lighter level, let's put it that way. I'm just going to kind of leave that at that, I think. All right. Also on this day, we have Venus in Scorpio in semi-sextile to Mars here in Sagittarius. Okay. This feels very global to me. I feel like with that, I said in last week's video with the Mars and Sagittarius, it's like taking action on a more global scale. I feel there's an intensity to this Venus, and in relation to this taking of action, as it relates to, I feel like there's people involved. Okay, there's people involved. This is what I'm getting with this Venus stuff. There's people involved that are taking action in some way here. Sorry, I just need to go pause for a moment. Okay, sorry. I heard a noise like somebody was here, but it's just the cats being cats. Anyways, let me get back to this, get back into my groove here. Okay. So, Venus in semi-sextile to Mars. I think I was saying there was people. Okay, initially it felt like in the background, but not quite. It's like there's people that are taking this action, but it feels there's an intensity, okay? There's an intensity surrounding this. Regarding whatever actions are being taken, and it feels like on a more global level. Okay, I'm just going to leave it at that for that one. And let's have a talk about this Mercury going retrograde here. All right, so Mercury goes retrograde at 1:01 p.m. Central. Okay. This may change because daylight savings time hasn't happened yet, and I'm not going to sit here and, because it's showing me the current time now for Central Daylight Time, but then it's going to shift. It could be different, okay, by an hour either way. time zones can be confusing as hell, and I'm not going to calculate that. Basically, Sunday afternoon, Mercury goes retrograde. All right, that's what's going to happen. What I feel with this is it's a relooking at a lot of things based on either what has happened in the past couple weeks through Mercury's shadow, or it's like figuring it out. It's what I said with Mercury's shadow. It's like there's this trying to, well, with the shadow, there was this trying to have a look at how we're going to move forward and maybe reevaluating certain things. And this feels more intensely related to that, but this feels very much, it feels like something has happened. Like I said, I don't know, because I'm recording this like ahead of time before even the week where I got that transformation card even occurs. So I have no idea what the hell is going to happen, or what any of this even really means. Okay, but it's almost like it feels kind of like a truth that had come, like I don't know how to properly articulate this. It's like we know something now that we didn't before. Like something came, there was a truth that came out, or something happened, or whatever. And now the discussion is surrounding, well, this is what this is, so what are we going to do about it? Okay, and it's trying to figure out how things are going to be adjusted and moving forward, etc. That's the best I can do to describe that, okay? I don't know how else to put that into words other than that. Okay, that's all I'm going to say with that for this Mercury retrograde, because it relates to what I said with Mercury shadow, and this is going to be a highlighted thing throughout, throughout this. If something, if something happens, or if there's other stuff that is going to relate to Mercury retrograde, we can talk about it obviously in future videos, because Mercury's going to be retrograde for a bit here, okay? So, but that's it, at least for now. All right, so that's Sunday the 9th. Let's move on to Monday the 10th, and of course there is nothing peaking in aspect on Monday the 10th. Let's move on to Tuesday the 11th. And of course we're going to have Jupiter retrograde on this day, but we'll just wait and I'll talk about that at the end. Let's hit the aspects here first. So we're going to have Venus here, in this biquintile to Neptune retrograde. This feels, it feels like the intensity of whatever because the semisextiles is still here to Mars. Whatever these action steps are for whatever these people are doing for this intensity, there's an intensity surrounding those action steps regarding to, it feels like pushing for a change and transformation. It could feel harsh, it could feel intense, it could feel like that. It could feel very Scorpio, but ultimately the underlying part of this seems actually quite positive, despite what it may look like on the surface. What I feel with the Neptune part of that is there's this soft, like I said previously about this, the softening to love. There's a softening, there's an intense positivity that's surrounding that. Almost like the universe, source, creator is almost like working through that in a very positive way to assist. And it feels like what is falling apart was never actually really truly meant for us, or never actually the positive things that maybe we were manipulated into believing that they were. I don't know what's happening, okay? But like, this is what I'm getting. And the people, because this is biquintile to Venus here, the people that are taking this intense action, etc., are doing it like on behalf of this softening to love, this loving thing. So whatever actions are occurring or whatever is happening, it feels like this energy, though, in relation to this, is behind the scenes. It's like this is almost like this Neptune here is almost like an unknown player. It's there, it's happening, but it's not being seen by anyone that is seeing this part of it, this Venus, especially with this semi-sextile to Mars, whatever this action stuff is or whatever is occurring here with that intensity of those people doing whatever. We're just seeing this part of it, okay? We're not seeing the Neptunian part of it. We're not seeing the underlying, we're not totally seeing the positivity that's there. There are people that are going to know, and you'll be able to feel it and understand that there's something else going on. But that's not what's going to be seen, okay? I'm just going to leave it at that. Let's move on here to the Sun here. The Sun will be in a quintile to Pluto here. Sun in Scorpio, quintile to Pluto. I got, like, change, transformation. Like, there's an intensity to this. Like I said, I don't know what the hell is going on, but whoa. This feels very behind the scenes, like there's a strong push. It's like almost like knocking something down, but it's taking it out from under, right? It's like getting at the root of it, or like at the foundation of something, and just almost like pulling it out from there, and then everything just kind of topples down. Okay, I know that's not really how buildings come down or whatever, but that's like whatever is needed to occur. It's like you have to remove the support system in order for whatever this is to actually transform it and just actually come down for whatever it is to change. But it feels like a very positive energy that's knocking out the support system of something that is not positive or was never meant for us, or it's like old control systems or old, like, I don't know, I'm kind of being drawn to look at Saturn's old control systems, old whatever, but like that's what it feels like. But this feels like it's something that it's happening behind the scenes that we'd not necessarily see. What I feel is we may see certain things on the surface or the outcome of certain things, but we're not actually seeing the actual positivity and what it means and what's really going on behind the scenes to actually do that. Let's move on to the next thing here on the list. We're going to have Mercury in semi-sextile to Venus now. What I get is what it seems like is maybe political leaders speaking out about something. Okay, and it's regarding what I said surrounding Mercury retrograde. About okay, now what are we going to do about this? And maybe even calling people out. Like, this is kind of some wild energy. Maybe calling people out. And what are we going to do about this? This might be a bit of a wild ride. Okay, at the end of the day today, at around 11:30 midnight-ish, we're going to have this last quarter moon here, with the Sun in Scorpio and of course the Moon in Leo. Okay, I'm seeing something is like, it's almost like being revealed. feeling like that Leo energy, bringing something to center stage, spotlighting it. I feel that sense of dramaticness to that, but it's almost highlighting maybe what has been hidden in some way. I feel it's relating to calling somebody out or calling people out on their BS or on whatever. Because it relates, what I feel is there's still that positive energy with Scorpio and with the sun in Scorpio, highlighting things to transform and change. But this feels like in a very positive way, but it can be rough. Okay, and I've said before, people don't like Scorpio because Scorpio will call it out for what it is. Scorpio will say it for what it is. Scorpio doesn't fuck with bullshit. And a lot of people don't like that because they're not willing to actually see their own skeletons that they have in their closet. Okay? They're not willing to look at their own shit to actually face it, heal it, transform it, and move on into a better space. But in order to move to that better space, you have to do those things. You can't just ignore it and pretend, because that's not real. That's not real healing. That's not real happiness. That's not real anything. That's just pretending. Okay? To actually get the real thing, you have to go through the shit. You have to face it. You have to heal it, release it, transform it. You have to be the phoenix rising from the ashes. You have to see it for what it is in order to know how to properly deal with it. Okay? And that's kind of what this feels like, but it's the light pushing on this. It doesn't feel bad though. There's that intensity, that transformation, etc. But it's backed up by a very positive energy that's not going to let that whatever you have to face sit there and fester for long. It's like, okay, this is what it is, this is what we got to do, and we're just flipping the switch. Okay? Like I said, it's using that Scorpio energy in a very positive way. Okay? Scorpio is not bad. It doesn't have to be bad. There's good and bad to all signs. You can use this energy in positive or negative ways. Okay? When it comes to the astrology, it's how it is being used. And there's people that have used this in nefarious ways in the past, trust me. But this feels like a very positive energy that is using this for very good things now. Even if we don't see it as that or see it for what it is, because it's likely still going to be manipulated. Okay? But we just have to understand and honestly tune into your own heart and feel it for your own self for what it is. Don't listen to the narrative or the BS. Actually take the situation and then, okay, what do I really truly feel? Ignore your ego, ignore the mind, ignore whatever. Feel it here. Actually feel it. What does this feel like for me? What do I really feel this situation is? And get a look within yourself. Okay? Feel that frequency within yourself. Because that is where the truth is going to lie. You're not going to get it from the TV or from watching somebody on social media or whatever. There's people out there that are speaking the truth and good things. But there's a lot of people out there that also aren't. Okay? Listening to this and feeling and tuning in and feeling that vibrational either discord or resonance or whatever is what's going to help you to understand what is true and what is not. It helps you to use your own discernment. Okay? Don't just blindly listen to whatever. Trust here. Trust in your heart. Okay? Because that's not going to lead you astray. Alright? I don't know why I'm going off on this tangent, but apparently it's necessary. But yeah, it feels like something is being shown here. And it's like it's got to be dealt with, or it is being dealt. There's a transformation that's occurring, but there's an illumination or a showing of what's been hidden or what's been buried, or something's coming to the surface here, or being called out, or whatever the hell it is, to be dealt with, basically. Yeah, so, okay. And finally, Jupiter will go retrograde today. It says here 10:37 a.m. So you can see Jupiter here at the bottom of the chart. Let me just feel into this. Feels like bringing back. Like bringing back positivity. Bring back the positive. I don't know how, like, I'm just saying what I'm getting. This feels very positive again. It's like bringing back. It's bringing back the abundance, bringing back something. I feel like with this retrograde energy going backwards, it's bringing something back. Jupiter is expanding what it touches. It's starting to move backwards. And now it's bringing back something. Is there anything more to this? Like, I'm feeling the energy of Cancer, of its comfort, it's cozy, it's safe, it's almost like bringing that back. But through abundance, through positive, but like there's, I'm sorry, it's sometimes it's really hard sometimes to articulate what it is that I feel into words. Because words are extremely limited in their expression, just to be brutally honest with you. Because I'm getting it as how I feel it, and sometimes it's really hard to, like I said, put this into words. All I can say is it's bringing back something, but it feels very positive. It's almost like being drawn, I feel like it being drawn back in time. But it doesn't feel like it's negative stuff from the past. It feels like there's positive stuff that is like it's coming back. And it does. It feels like nurturing, comfy, cozy, like those, like those Cancer-like things. But it's maybe not necessarily specifically related to your home or specifically related to what it just that vibe in general in terms of whatever that it relates to. Because this is like mundane astrology happening in a global way. I don't honestly understand what specifically that's going to mean. I really don't. I'm just saying it how I'm feeling it, but I have no idea in my mind how exactly this will play out. Like, is there anything else that you can give me with this? It feels like it's fixing. What I'm getting is it's like feeling pulled out to a global space, but it's like fixing and bringing back appropriate, like these things that I mentioned, and it like trickles back down. It's like I don't know if it's related to trickle down economics or whatever, okay? But what I'm feeling is it's like it trickles back down. I'm just gonna leave it at that. We're just gonna have to, that's the energetic vibe. We're just gonna have to see specifically whatever that is. But regardless, it's positivity. It's something that is coming back. It doesn't feel negative. It's something that is coming back, that is returning, that ultimately feels very, maybe a bit more comforting, cozy, positive in whatever way that is. That things are shifting and then that's trickling to whatever. Just leave it there. So that's Tuesday the 11th, Wednesday the 12th. Let's have a look at Wednesday the 12th. Look at how I'm doing here. There we go. Wednesday the 12th. We're going to have this Mercury in conjunction to Mars. This happens 5:15 p.m. Yeah, it's not quite short because this is later at night, so this is kind of already done. But Mercury conjunct Mars. Somehow I feel like this relates to that Jupiter, because Jupiter rules Sagittarius where this is happening, and with Jupiter retrograde and Mercury retrograde, it's like, I don't feel it's related to Mercury retrograde though. It feels like more like related to Jupiter retrograde. With whatever's coming back. Mercury conjunct Mars. It's like action that brings awareness, but this feels very global, on a very large scale, on something in that regard. I'm feeling it's more like economic. Is it something? There's communication and awareness of action that is being taken on that higher scale. It almost feels like it's something economic or something globally related in that sense, and it very much relates to the Jupiter retrograde type of energy that I've already talked about. And I'm just going to leave it at that. That's kind of what I'm getting with that as that general energy. We'll leave it there, okay? Let's move on to... So that was the only thing for the 12th. Let's move on to Thursday the 13th. In which there is nothing peaking in aspect again for Thursday, which is great. Let's move on to Friday the 14th. Just one thing happening today, and that is this Venus in sesqui-square to Saturn. Okay, a sesqui-square is like a super square, square and a half. It's something that can no longer be like swept under the rug any longer, kind of an energy, okay? Whatever this group of people is with this Scorpio energy that's being backed up by this positive energy in Scorpio is pushing hard against the old control structures through the Saturn retrograde that are being dissolved in some way. Regardless of how it may show in the world or how whatever is going on. What I heard was looks can be deceiving. But it's pushing hard against those control structures. And they're going away. Those control structures are going, they don't stand a chance. This energy, this Venus in Scorpio, is far more powerful than whatever these old things that the Saturn retrograde is bringing up. The Scorpio energy is backed by the light. This over here is not. And it's going down. That's all I'm going to say about that. Let's move on to Saturday the 15th. On this day, it looks like only one thing again, where we're going to have the Sun in quincunx to Chiron, retrograde. What I actually felt or heard initially was I got your back. Sun in Scorpio, again, backed by this positivity that is using the Scorpio energy in a very positive way. This light, this whatever this energy is using this in a positive way. that's like, I got your back. This quincunx doesn't feel like a normal quincunx. Okay, what I get now is it feels it in that way in terms of how we've been injured, hurt, outcast, wounded, whatever that is, with that Chiron there in Aries. Regarding sovereignty, independence, self-identity, whatever. That's what feels frustrating, is that wound, how we've been shit on, put in the dirt, how it hasn't been able to transform and change. That's what's frustrating with this. But what I get with this Sun and Scorpio energy is I've got your back. It's kind of like, just wait, just hold on. I've got your back. There's a frustration there, but it's almost like that annoyance occurs before the actual transformation then takes place for this. However long, I don't know, I don't have a timeline on that, or when that would be, or how that would occur, whatever, I don't know. But it just feels like, just hold on, hang in there, don't worry, I've got your back. Whatever that means. And again, this is mundane, this is more on like a global kind of a scale. So that's Saturday the 15th. Okay, that's it. Let's bring it back to me. Let me just tune in here for the overall energy of the week. What do we got for the overall energy? Feels like dealing with stuff. Whatever has come out, whoever's been called out, it almost feels like calling somebody out for BS or something. Whoever's been called out, whatever's going on, it's dealing with it. And then what I feel like is that I've got your back kind of an energy, as in this has come out. It's almost like it's maybe related to that wound or something. This has come out. And then it's like, it's like almost like you see the injured person on the street and it's like, don't worry, I got your back. And it's like you're just waiting for the help to arrive or something like that, or you're trying to figure out how to deal with it. You're not leaving them, but you need to figure out how to deal with the situation or something like that. That's what it feels like to me for the week. Okay. Anyway, I'm just going to leave it there for this week. If you've made it this far in the video, please leave a purple heart in the comments so I know you're a real one. And as a reminder, I do offer personal readings, including a $10 3-minute, just a quickie reading. And other readings too, but all those links are in the description below. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all in next week's video. Take care, everyone. Bye.